Hello and welcome to Brew Tapcast. I am Tappy here for day 3 of Pints and Previews for Flesh and Blood Tales of Aria. Again, I apologize for this being a little bit late. I got the smackdown at a local road to national, so we are just getting into day 3 now of the spoilers. So we got 13 cards from 11 people. Go ahead and check out the link below. It's going to link you to all the people's videos and things that they made if you want to see those. Outside of that, we will give a brief little overview right now. So let's just jump right into the cards. All right, here we are with number 1 from Hometown TCG. We have Flash Freeze. This is a Ice and or Lightning fusion card. It is a red Majestic, pitch 1, cost 1, blocks for 2, elemental action. Says it has Ice or Lightning fusion, so you can reveal Ice or Lightning or Ice and Lightning cards from your hand when you cast this. It says Flash Freeze was fused with an Ice card. Attacks you control this turn gain whenever this attack with this is... when you attack with this, it gains Dominate unless the defending hero pays 2. A lot of weird templating in this set, sorry. If Flash Freeze was fused with a Lightning card, attacks you control this turn gain if it hits a hero, deals 3 damage to them. Go again. So you can get one, the other, or both by revealing different cards. So pretty amazing actually, because you're making it hard to block, so you're costing people up front. Trying to unless they pay something, so they're losing a card from their hand, pitching a card or onboard resources, they losing a card already. So it's sort of like you're already blocking with a multiple set of cards if you don't want to give it Dominate. So Dominate, boom, you can only block with 1. Pay something, you're already blocking with 1, but you're not blocking damage, you're pitching. And then if you do the Lightning one, it's just an extra set of damage on top of it. So you're really incentivized if it's fused with both to really block out, pitch, and block everything. Otherwise, you're just going to get hurt. So it's a real whirlwind of a brutal attack here, and I think it's super powerful. The art's really ethereal and weird looking, but no, it seems amazingly powerful. It just maybe this is a big finishing turn, just to have this a lot of setup. You got to have a lot of setup for this because you have to have an Ice and Lightning card in your hand. You have to have this, and you have to have an attack to sort of buff with it. So it's definitely a lot of setup, but I think it really pays you off in spades because it's such a brutal amount of things going on. Stripping cards from your opponent's hand, dealing extra damage. Maybe you can get some Frostbite hit on there too. So this is any elemental thing. So this is both the Ranger or the Guardian right now. So definitely, I feel like that's a really amazing card to play. All right, on to number 2, we have Channel Lake Frigid by TCG Player. This is a blue pitch, 2 cost Ice action aura. Defends for 3. Go again. Cards and activated abilities cost an opposing heroes an additional 1 resource. So everything is taxed by 1. Channel Ice. At the beginning of your end phase, put a flow counter on Channel Lake Frigid, then destroy it unless you can put an Ice card from your pitch down on the bottom of your deck. So just like we saw with the Lightning one, it's going to cost you. You have to build around this if you want it to last for a couple turns, and even then, you don't really know if you'll have enough Ice cards to really pay for this and keep it around. That said, you're getting a very powerful effect here. I mean, a lot of those aggro decks are really going to hurt. You know, if everything normally is 0 cost, they're having to pay for things. It blows them out. Really, really quite powerful. So yes, it's how long this will last, who really knows. These are not legendary, so you can have multiples in there. You can definitely set up and have these multiple chains of this sort of going on and screwing your opponent out of resources. So definitely very powerful. I think it's a card to watch because of the pain it can give people and the game plans it interrupts. All that kind of stuff. They have to have an alternative plan if they can't count on having the resources in their hand to actually pay for the cost of the cards they put in their deck. So definitely expensive, but I think it's worth building around. So that's Channel Lake Frigid. We have Frostlock. This is from Fight for Fun, and wow. So this is a Ranger one. We haven't seen anything Ranger related today. So Elemental Ranger, it's Arrow. This is a blue pitch. It's a Majestic. 1 cost, 3 power, 3 defense. It says Ice Fusion. Cards and activated abilities your opposing heroes cost an additional 1 resource this turn. So as soon as you play this thing out, they have to pay an extra 1 to do anything they want to do, really. If Frostlock was fused, it gains +1, and if it hits until the end of their next turn, they can't pitch or play cards with base cost 0. So totally wipes the floor with aggro decks that are looking to go low with high pitch and low cost, and a lot of those flying around. So yes, it is only coming in for 3, but you definitely want to somehow buff this thing up, because that will just be the pounding of the century for going against aggro decks. Obviously, you want to side it out for if you're going more control, because some decks just don't play 0 cost. Bravo's never going to be, or Guardians, should say, no, there's another Guardian, will never be worried about this card, just because they don't need to worry about it. It's not a big deal. So outside of that, though, like aggro decks, stuff like with maybe chain, stuff like that, will really have a hard time dealing with a lot of this kind of stuff. Ninjas, ugh. Some of the mechanologists, yeah, definitely a brutal card. Doesn't do anything with weapons, so it's not going to hurt ninjas like Kodachis or anything like that, but it can definitely hurt their cheap attacks and things like that. Also, the art's like fantastically epic. So, all right, on to we have Winter's Bite. This is from Team Dice Jar, Art of War, little podcasting I have, I believe. So we have yet to see. Well, let me read it first. So this is Winter's Bite. This is a red version, 0 cost, ice action, defense for 2. Target hero discards a card unless they pay 3. Go again. This is the first time we have seen a card just directly disrupt their opponent's hand. And you may look at this card and say like, oh man, that guy's just out in the woods. You see that? Do you not see the frosty looking wolves around him? Because I didn't at first. So just take a look at that. Like you look at like the snot freezing on his nose, off his arm. He's looking nice and cold. There's these frost worlds just nipping at him. Like that's so cool. That's such a cool set of art. Maybe there's a frost bear, a frost deer. It's a whole bunch of different frosty animals getting after him. So this is our first time we've seen direct disruption of just like ripping cards out of your hand. So yes, if they can't pay for that, they have to discard, or they can just pitch. Either way, it's pulling cards out of their hand, slowing them down. And yeah, it's a 1-for-1 at worst. At best, it could be a 2-for-1. Gotta love that. Definitely, we're seeing a lot of resource-hungry decks in this set so far, or sets of cards. Again, we haven't seen everything. I'm just assuming there's going to be very, very powerful but resource-hungry decks. So this is a pretty good counter to limited play in here as well. Assuming it's a cycle, we will see that the change effect on the yellow and blue are it pays 2 or pays 1 for that resource cost, which is still really good because it's harder to find one resource. Or it's just harder to find one resource as for 3. It's still one card theoretically. You have a blue card in your hand, you gotta lose it. Got a red card in your hand, you gotta lose it for the blue. So it's still a very powerful way to strip a card out of your opponent's hand. So I think it'll be a brutal way to mess things up in limited, but otherwise it could see some constructed play as well. I think in blitz and constructed. So yeah, that's assuming it is a cycle. We'll have that stuff, but I'm really liking ice. It's pretty exciting. All right, so we have Talarian Community College. You have 3 cards, and one of them is our new hero. We have Oldhim, the grandfather of eternity. This is an elemental guardian hero. 4 intellect, 40 health, essence of earth and ice, and then it says once per turn defense reaction, pay 3. If an earth card is pitched this way, prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to Oldhim this turn. Or if it is an ice card is pitched this way, the attacking hero puts a card from their hand on top of their deck. So first of all, the modality of this is just fantastic. Being able to possibly have 2 choices when you're being attacked and having defense reaction is fantastic. Yes, 3 is expensive to prevent 2 damage, but it's something that you don't have to have in your hand. All you have to do is have a pitch value. Or if you're playing against, so that's like if you're getting hit big, you just drop 2 damage off. Like if you have like an item or something you can't block with, like a generic that doesn't really block well or something like that, then boom, you can go ahead and pitch it to this guy to blunt the damage a little bit. So it can kind of turn an instant or an item or something that doesn't have a block value into something that can actually block, which is key. Or if you're playing against someone who's going long, like aggro sort of wide stuff, you can just sort of pitch a land or an earth thing to slow them down. Like, oh yeah, sorry, kick a card out of your hand. Now you don't have either more resources to pitch or whatever. And you can't just pitch for fun. Like you can't just like, oh, I only have 1 card left. Well, I guess just pitch it. You have to have a reason to pitch. So you can't do that to get it not on the top of your deck or anything like that. So Oldhim seems really cool. We also have the young version too, which is again 4 intellect, 20 health. Just a big, beefy man with a hammer. So pretty cool. Like I like it. I can dig it. I'm all this ice, and I'm also an earth dude. I think Oldhim might be my guy. Just saying, might be my guy. All right, so also by TCC, we have Winter's Grasp. This is a red pitch, 2 cost, 6 power ice, action, attack, 3 defense, and then it's vanilla outside of that. Assuming it's a cycle, we would be attacking for 6, 5, 4 with the 3 colors. The 5 and the 4 aren't great for 2 power, but 6 can break Prism, that kind of stuff. There's probably be some good usage of these cards if we're looking to fill out ice, because this confuse things. So I think that's where these cards, although their rates are not great, this is how they're balancing these fusion cards, I think. Because, yeah, you can fill your deck with entirely ice cards, right? But there's some of them that aren't so great on rate. And again, we've seen that they're all very hungry. So, yes, you can reveal and always be fusing, but you might not be able to play as many things as you want because they're so expensive. So unless there's a good way to generate a lot of resources that we haven't seen yet, they're going to be tempered to be a little bit less exciting. That said, I think they're fantastically exciting, and I'm really excited about it. So, yeah, probably see them in Class Constructed because you need to fill out ice, but maybe not so much in Blitz. Last run from TCC, we have Autumn's Touch. This is our first Earth card, as far as I can recall. It is a red pitch, 3 cost, 7 power Earth attack action, defends for 3, vanilla outside of that. Very cool looking art there. So if this is a cycle, 3 cost for 7 power ain't too bad, but maybe 5 power if it's the blue one for 3 is not super great. But again, this is something that you can be pitching to Odin for his smack a card on top of their, from their hand on top of their library sort of thing, because it is an Earth attack. So very, very interesting. I also think that you can actually do, for his attack, or for his defense reaction, you can do both Earth and Ice and get some nice spicy effects of blunting and reacting. So I think it's really exciting. I think this fits into a Guardian deck like extremely well. Obviously, we can't put it in Bravo, but like the high power and the being able to pitch for 3 is pretty good. So I think it's an okay card. I think the 7 power is pretty nice for 3, and it's pretty exciting. Looking forward to more Earth stuff because I think it's going to be really beefy and brutal and banging. So looking forward to that sort of stuff. All right, our next one from the Wraith Times, we have Winter's Wail. So we have our one-handed hammer. Just drink that gorgeous hammer in. So it says Winter's Wail, once per turn action, 3 attack. It is a 4 power attack. It is, again, one-handed hammer. It says, if an ice card is pitched this way, Winter's Wail gains. If it hits a hero, create a Frostbite token under their control. So, similar, it costs 3 for 4 swing, just like Anathos, but it doesn't get the power buff. Instead, it gets a Frostbite if it hits, which is actually, I feel like that might be better. Yes, not as good at fatiguing, so it won't be as powerful and limited, or like fatigue, like going along with Bravo, that sort of thing. You could also play Anathos with Oldheim if you wanted to. But very, very exciting, very cool, and immediately you're looking for, where does it say legendary or something like that? There's nothing that says legendary. So theoretically, you could be dual wielding these hammers and just like smack, smackety, smack, smack, smack. Yes, that's an expensive turn, but imagine that just going super long. Like, cool, I have a 4-card hand, maybe I block with 2 cards, I got 2 blues, I just go swing for 4, if you can give them go again. That's the only thing, is there is no go again here, just like Anathos. But I think it could be really cool if you had some way to do that. Be very exciting. Or, so very powerful, very beautiful, very cool. Or you can pair it with our next card from the Fab 5. We have Rampart of the Ram's Head. This is our legendary Guardian equipment offhand. So very, very cool here. We saw our buckler. Throw that thing out. You got this sweet old, beautiful extended art shield. So whenever you defend with Rampart of the Ram's Head, you may pay 1 resource. If you do, it gains +1 to 1 turn. So, and it has a base of 0. So just like we saw with like Phantasmal Footsteps and that sort of thing, we can buff up our defense. This one does not get destroyed no matter what, which is really cool. So it's a repeatable defense sort of thing. Really, really think these are really cool design, and I'm very excited they did this. So you can just, shield up, turtle up with a Guardian, and go to town. So very exciting there for the new Guardian. Not much else to say. It's awesome. It's another piece of equipment that's renewable, and you can block with it. It only costs 1. Not too shabby. All right, we have our next one from Talarian Dropouts. We have Tear Asunder. This is a 3-pitch. Blue, 3 cost, Guardian action, defense for 3, Majestic. Your next Guardian attack this turn gets +1, Dominate, and if it hits, they discard 2 cards, go again. So this is essentially part of your recipe for building your own Crippling Crush, and boy, does it work well. Yes, it costs 3, but it gives a +1 in Dominate, so it's already got Dominate. Bravo costs 2 to get the Dominate thing, so this is a 3 cost, but you're getting a buff. And then you don't get the random thing as you do with the Crippling Crush, but it's still amazingly powerful. I think this is a great card to watch. I think it fits in with Bravo. I think it fits in with Oldhim. It can be very, very cool. I don't even know what else to say. Like, that's awesome. The art is like fantastic. Look at this guy just like literally ripping the skies apart. So definitely really, really cool. Really, really cool. So that is Tear Asunder from Talarian Dropouts. We have our next one. Arsenal Pass has Endless Winter. So this is an Elemental Guardian attack action. This is a Majestic. So red pitch, 4 cost, 8 power, 3 defense. This is a specialization for Oldhim. So this is not legendary, so you can have as many copies as you want. Well, 3. However many copies are in the set, or in the play that you're playing. So Blitz, Constructed, whatever. Ice Fusion. If Endless Winter was fused, whenever the defending hero adds a defending card to the chain link, create a Frostbite token under their control. Now, If they defend with 1 card, they have to create a Frostbite token. If they defend with another, like, so if they defend with 2 cards, that is 2. Because it's for every 1 card they add to the chain. And that includes defense reactions. So that's a brutal, brutal card. It also says, if Endless Winter hits a hero, until their next turn, end of their next turn, whenever they activate an ability, create a Frostbite token under control. So every time they go to do something, like activate something, they get all froze up, and they have to pay another 1. So it's like, it doesn't matter how you, whatever you do, it's going to suck. You can't not block it to prevent the amount of Frostbite tokens you're blocking for. Because then you just get hit. And like, it's not just your first action, it's any action you take. Or any activation. So it's just a brutal card. Like, it's just a brutal card. Yeah, it's 4, but like, you can still make that thing go to town. Like, it's gonna cause problems no matter what you're trying to do. It's just cold. It's just really cold. Lots of Frostbite thrown around. So that's very, very exciting. All right. Second to last, we have Glacial Footsteps by Red Riot Games. This is a big old Guardian beater. So this is the blue version. I assume it's a cycle. 6 pitch. Cost of 6, power of 8, defense for 3. Love that. Ice Fusion. If Glacial Footsteps was fused, it gains Dominate. So you got the 6 cost, 8 power Dominate. Yes, that's expensive. That's super expensive. This is the blue version. If there is a red version, that's not going for 9. That's going for 10 damage. It's almost as much as a Crippling Crutch for 1 less mana. Or 1 less resource. So that can be very, very powerful. This is the other part of your sort of like build your own Crippling Crush. I mean, yes, Terra Asunder gives you Dominate already, but that also bumps it up. So literally, Terra Asunder and this guy together, yes, it is expensive and a total cost of 9. So you'll have to have something in your arsenal, but there's your own Crippling Crush right there. And it's at common and majestic, so not too shabby there. So I like it. Again, that is if there is a cycle of them, and I think there is. But I also like that it blocks for 3. All right, the last card that we have is Wevice by Tabletop Magazine. This is an ice action, so this is a rare. So we have the red pitch version here. Cost 0, ice action, defense for 2. It says the next ice or elemental attack action card you play this turn gains +3. If it's used, it gains Dominate. So we're seeing more of the less about the Frostbite side of ice and more of the Dominate thing, which is more where the Guardians go. So Guardians are always trying to get hits in. So Ranger seems more like creating Frostbite. I mean, Oldhim had his card, the Endless Winter, that does that as well, but Dominate more is the sort of colder side of Guardian, which I think is a great blend of being able to dominate things with stuff like this and then adding in the Frostbite stuff. So this ice action, again, there's probably a cycle, so +1, +2 for the yellow and blue. This can fit just fine in Ranger. So you can pump it up, give your arrow Dominate, because it doesn't say anything about just attack. Get your Dominate and get your Frostbite tokens in. So Chilling Ice Vein, boom, buff it, dominate it, get into Frostbite tokens. So definitely a very powerful card there, especially at a cost of 0. So very exciting there. And so those are our spoilers for day 3 of Tales of Aria. So that's probably going to do it for today's video. So again, check out all the creators who are making these awesome spoiler videos and things like that. They're definitely worth watching. Some really good stuff. And then waiting for the next day. So Monday comes the day 4 of spoilers. We got some good stuff coming there. So you'll see what we got on the screen right now. And then I think that'll be it. So thank you so much for watching this Pints and Previews, and we will see you next time. Cheers.